I want to welcome you to this episode of the Rogues Radio Live. We got our warning up here. just, just so everyone knows, this is a show intended for an adult audience and not recommended for children under the age of 13. Parental discretion is advised. I mean, we should probably curse up a storm just to prove the point, but we never do. But that's besides the issue. Anyhow, I want to welcome you to this episode. My name is Dave Beatty. I'm one of your hosts. For nearly 30 some odd years, I've been a professional illustrator and graphic designer, worked on a lot of different things that some people have heard of, companies like, Marvel and DC Comics and all that kind of fun stuff. But enough about that. I want to welcome back my co-host. This is Mr. Eric Alexander. Eric, please tell the folks listening or watching at home some of the things you've done as a creative professional.
Yes, I am the associate producer for a feature film called Occupants, which features Star Trek Voyager actor Robert Picardo and is currently available to stream for free on Tubi, which is an ad-based streaming service. And I am also the chief financial officer of Bad Bob Productions, which is a small film production company here in Arizona. Very cool.
So real quickly, as we mentioned last episode, we are in the process of making some changes around here. So pardon our dust. Hopefully we'll have a new logo and some fun things going on with the next episode. But don't be surprised if things begin to change. So enough about that public service announcement. And we're going to move on now to pop culture news. Tell me, Eric, what's going on in the world of pop culture news that's maybe caught your attention?
I thought this thing might have caught your attention. I'm going to try to get the share screen going here, because I know this is something that you were interested in at one time, and we finally got a decent look at them for the first time in quite a while. Did you see this?
The Knights of Ren.
Yeah, this is from the last Rise of Skywalker TV spot, I guess is the term. It's not an official trailer. It's only 30 seconds long. Mostly it's, I think, that big chase scene. People have been talking about the chase scene.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with it, with the stormtroopers with the jetpack?
Yeah. I don't want to sound. The thing is, I don't want to start the show up by dumping all over the movie, but I having just seen the last episode of The Mandalorian, which we'll be talking about later. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, but jetpacks have been a part of the Star Wars universe for quite some time, going all the way back to the Clone Wars.
But what about catapulting motorcycles?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Anyhow, I was excited to see the clip until I saw that, and I was like, why are they on motorcycles in the desert when basically the resistance fighters are essentially on skiffs hovering over the desert, moving faster. I was just like, why would you? There's
the catapulting stormtrooper. Yeah.
I mean, I guess maybe it'll make a fun toy for kids. I don't know what it reminded me of, and I don't want to get too deep into this because I do honestly hope the film is going to be good. I really don't want the movie to be like Last Jedi. But this, to me, reminds you of some of the stuff they did in Batman and Robin and the whole toyetic thing where, we're making toys for kids. We're making a cartoon. We're making a commercial. That's how this struck me, and it struck me the wrong way. And then all I could think of is like, why doesn't someone turn around and take these guys out? It's only 4 stormtroopers. Give me a break. Like,
yeah, it's not consistent. I mean, just the whole wheeled vehicle thing to begin with is kind of stupid. We all know that. They have speeders that are much more maneuverable. The speeders do fly. So all of this seems very superfluous. And then, of course, as I mentioned, when I first saw this, I mentioned on somebody's Twitter because that's how I found out about it. I didn't see it on TV. I saw somebody on their Twitter feed talking about it. And I was like, well, The Mandalorian kind of beat you to this, didn't they?
Yeah.
And we'll get to that in our episode, right? Because literally that's what happened in the last episode, right? So The Mandalorian kind of took their thunder, in my opinion, which I think they're doing a lot of. And but the thing that I wanted to talk to you about was this, because I know there was a time where you were really fascinated with the Knights of Ren. And this is probably my favorite thing of the trailer, is this really nice shot of the Knights of Ren.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have been lamenting that there was a lot of potential with the Knights of Ren. And I don't think there's any way they're going to be able to save this. But I'm hoping it's not just one little scene and they're blown up or something like that, you know? So maybe we'll finally get something. of the Knights of Ren. They do look cool, I think. You talk about a nice toy. These would be cool toys, you know. So I wish they had done something with. I wish they had done something with them from the beginning, from The Force Awakens. That we really had some idea of who they were. The backstory that I heard was that they started as a cult of basically Darth Vader super fans, which makes sense because that's what Kylo Ren is. Kylo Ren basically idolizes his grandfather. So that's one part of the story that I liked and was intrigued by the first time I heard about it, which I heard about it before the movie came out. I thought it was going to be a big deal. And of course, all we got was one shot of the Knights of Ren. We didn't even get to see them slaughter the Padawans or whatever was there at that time at the New Jedi Academy. We didn't get any of that, you know?
Right.
So I think we got one guy getting killed, looked like some guard or something like that got killed in The Force Awakens, and that was it. That's all we saw in that flashback that Rey has. So anyway, I do remember that you were into the Knights of Ren. I thought I'd bring it up. This is a cool shot of them. I think it's the coolest thing in the trailer. I do think the motorcycles are dumb. I do think that the jetpacks have already been done. Mandalorian beat you to it. You guys knew that, right? I mean, you assume they know that, but who knows who's really running things at Lucasfilm at this point? I've said it before. I very much think that Kathleen Kennedy might be a figurehead at this point, and they're kind of rudderless at this point, just going in different directions all over the place.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. It's funny because they could have had these guys, where we could have had, maybe a couple of them in the second film, and then Rey ends up killing them, or, somehow they end up getting killed, and then we could have. I don't know if you're a fan of the film. Oh man, here I'm blanking on it. It's the Robert Rodriguez film, Desperado. There's that scene where Antonio Banderas is calling on the phone. He's talking to his friends and he's telling them where he is. And he's like, bring your guitars. There could have been that cool scene where Kylo calls the rest of the Knights of Ren together. So in this last movie, it could be a reckoning.
The other thing that they could have done, you talk about what ifs. I mean, what if they just had sort of a minor Knight of Ren who's maybe the equivalent of a Knight of Ren Padawan or something like that that's running around, and Rey could have killed him or beaten him. You know what I mean? Instead of having him actually having her beat Kylo Ren in the first movie with no training. You know what I mean? Right. And then there's like a whole nother motivation going on. There's a whole nother it's a much more dynamic story at that point. If you had something like that happen, where this is sort of the new kid on the block, the new knight, the apprentice or whatever, and she kills that guy or beats that guy, chops his hand off, something like that. You know what I mean?
Right. And
it could have made a really cool other dynamic, but instead these guys have been completely ignored. I don't think they're going to be saved in this new movie, but I am hoping we get something that's kind of cool and fun about the Knights of Ren finally, because I do think that was a lot of wasted potential from the new trilogy.
Unfortunately, I'd have to say I agree. There could even been a cool scene where, the Knights of Ren have Rey surrounded and say, you're the last of the Jedi Knights. And, we are the new Knights. We are the Knights of Ren. And soon we will be the only ones. You know what I mean? Like, it could have been cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we're going to take that mantle back. The Jedi are no longer the Knights of the Galaxy. We are, that kind of.
And then even although it would have been unsatisfying, but even with Snoke, remember Snoke had these guards that were not the Knights of Ren. Obviously, they had a different look and all that kind of stuff. Right. And it was just like, why couldn't the guards been the Knights of Ren? Why couldn't there have been something with that? If you get into this stuff, it's very clear that there's a lot of stuff that Rian Johnson did, where he just basically said he didn't even care about what JJ was trying to do. And I think what JJ is trying to do is trying to fix it and get it back to what his original idea was. And I don't know how he's going to do that, because I think, and I'm someone who didn't like The Force Awakens to begin with, but I'm just saying, I know he had some ideas, and from what I've heard, Rian Johnson pretty much ruined those ideas. So now he's got to kind of try to fix it. There's all these leaks coming out about really bad test audience reactions and multiple endings, and who knows what's true and what's not. but it kind of makes sense to me with what's going on, what has been going on with the franchise lately. So we'll just have to see. We'll have to see if this is any good or not.
Yeah, like I said, I saw the spot. I was excited to see that we had some information, because I've been jonesing for any good information on the film, because I do want the film to be good. And I enjoyed Force Awakens for what it was. I did not like Last Jedi, but I'm still hoping that J.J. Abrams will be able to give us a nice Star Wars movie. But I'm enjoying The Mandalorian so much, I'm beginning to think that maybe that's where the future of Star Wars lies, is on Disney Plus. But that's just me, maybe.
You're not alone in that thought. There's a lot of people talking that way. So that's pretty much all I had for pop culture news. Did you have anything with pop culture news?
Not really.